Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Share this segment with everyone who wants to get a complete overview on the financial catastrophe that just took place in Long Island City and in New York. We'll just get started. Where do I get the numbers on the title? Okay. The worst case scenario. The worst case scenario, by the way, to my super chat, thank you so very much for tuning in. You give me every incentive to rock these live streams, so thank you to my super chat. The reason that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stated, well, you know, we are so happy that we kicked out Amazon is that it, in Democrats' minds, it benefited the community. But I don't see how it benefits the community to have $27.5 billion in tax revenue lost, 40,000 jobs, and it's 40,000. It's not just 25,000, it's 40,000. And $150,000 a year salaries on average for, if you look at the median income, is $56,201 in Long Island City. So, but let's just get to the worst case scenario. Let's say AOC is correct in that, well, it's not really 27.5 billion. It's not really 25,000 or 40,000. And it's not really $150,000 yearly salary. Well, let's just look at this. Does New York's Amazon math add up? State study relies on big assumptions. Let's just read. This is perhaps, the worst case scenario, in terms of Amazon, the estimates of money given to the city and to New York for Amazon. Albany, New York isn't just taking a conservative approach to how many jobs it's expecting Amazon to bring to New York City. In fact, it's just the opposite. The state's estimate that Amazon's newly planned Queens headquarters would bring in $27.5 billion in new tax revenue is based on the tech giant hiring 40,000 people, 60% more than the minimum the company committed to. How is that a bad thing? So instead of 27.5 billion, you have what, 13.5 billion? So the best case scenario, or the assumption made, which is a realistic assumption, Amazon's growing every year. And Amazon is one of the few companies out there that's probably going to continually grow for the next 10 years. It's not really like you can look at Facebook and Twitter. They won't be around 10 years from now. They don't really provide any service or value. But who is going to replace Amazon? This is not, like a social media fad. So Governor Andrew Cuomo's administration. So this is a Democrat. This is the establishment Democrat. Okay, this is a Democrat commissioned a study in October to assess how much money Amazon's move to establish a headquarters in Long Island City neighborhood would pump into the state's coffers. The findings were significant. So helping to justify a $3 billion taxpayer-backed subsidies, that's not money that you're going to get, AOC. That's money that Amazon would save from all the billions more that they would give. The study estimates $14 billion in new tax revenue alone over the next 25 years, separate from the city's estimate of $13.5 billion in new city tax revenue. So, New York City's estimate. So the finding. So Cuomo's study said 14 billion. So what if it's 14 billion and not 27 billion? Still, you're looking at money for bridges and subways and schools. That doesn't make any sense at all. At worst case scenario, you've just prevented $14 billion. $14 billion. Okay? That's the worst case scenario. The best case is 27.5 billion if they hired 40,000 people. The state-backed analysis, however, is based on a huge assumption that the major online retailer and cloud computing giant would bring in 40,000 jobs over 15 years. Well, that's possible. That's possible. If they start with 25,000 and they're growing, They're going to be growing every single year. This is one of the few companies that's very likely going to grow. It's not Amazon. It's not Twitter. It's not Facebook. I mean, I'm sorry. It's not Facebook. It's not, even Microsoft's probably not going to grow as much. You really can't replace Amazon. You can debate how important Amazon is, or its detrimental impact to society. I get it. Walmart, Amazon, I get it. Not good for independent retailers, but it's a force. It's an economic force in the country. When you have a median income of $56,000, a median household income of $56,201, and you had 27,000 jobs on average. We'll get to the article that on average was going to be $150,000 per year. Amazon will pay HQ2 employees on average of $150,000. This is CNBC. So I'm not making this stuff up. So, I mean, again, I'm not saying that Amazon is, look, I get it. The Washington Post is an extension of the Democratic Party. I'm not trying to, all I'm saying is look at the numbers. The state back analysis, however, is based, okay, so the major online retailer and cloud computing giant would bring 40,000 jobs over 15 years. It likely would. In New York, yeah, it likely would. In actuality, Amazon is committed to bringing 25,000 jobs to Queens over 10 years. Fine. While dangling the possibility, not a firm pledge of another 15,000 5 years later. That is very likely. So in 10 years, 25,000 jobs. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm not saying that, it's a gift from heaven, but it's pretty good. Okay, it's not bad. Then you get either 14 billion or over 25 billion in tax revenue, and all of AOC's political and economic ideas are based on tax revenue. So I don't get it. I don't get it at all. What is the point here of celebrating? Of course there are negatives to Amazon moving. Rent could go up. That's true. Rent could go up. Yes. Yes, but the people who are making $150,000 a year might not be living. I mean, that's like not that much in New York. I get it, but they might not be living in Long Island City, in Queens. They might not be living in Queens. So I don't know why rents would immediately go up. They might be living elsewhere in New York, which is likely the case. People commute all in New York. By focusing only on 40,000 jobs, the study pushed the revenue estimate much higher. So what? So you're looking at what? The difference between 14 billion or 25 billion. Still, 14 billion is pretty good. I'm here to confirm that New York will be a home to one of Amazon's new headquarters and more than 25,000 new high-paying jobs over the coming decade, with room to grow. John Schottler, Amazon's vice president for global real estate, said Tuesday. Robert Mujica, Cuomo's budget director, defended the decision to only examine the high end of Amazon's deal with the state, arguing that Amazon's build-out schedule suggests the company will exceed 25,000 jobs. He noted that Amazon would get less than the full $3 billion in incentives if they don't exceed 25,000 jobs. The subsidies are based only on the jobs created and how much Amazon invests into the facility. The subsidies are based, again, this is for everyone to listen to. This is for AOC and all the wonderful progressive pundits. He noted that Amazon would get less than the full $3 billion in incentives, which, by the way, isn't cash money to AOC. It's just they pay less taxes because they're paying so much in taxes, and they're investing hopefully in the community and jobs. So that was an incentive. It's not like a payment. He noted that Amazon will get less than the $3 billion in incentives if they don't exceed the 25,000 jobs. The subsidies are based only on the jobs created and how much Amazon invests into the facility. Okay. Is this a bad thing? For example, a cash grant from the state would be $325 million if Amazon hits 25,000 jobs. If it hits 40,000, the grant would increase by 180 million. We actually think they're going to go higher, Mujika said in an interview. He's right. I mean, Amazon's always growing. If it was like Facebook, look, I think like Snapchat, they bought up a whole bunch of property in Venice Beach, California. Okay. Sure, there are negatives, but Snapchat is not Amazon. Amazon is not like an app that went big and then, might not be there forever. Amazon's only going to grow because it's just part of American culture. Like everyone uses Amazon. It's part of American society. If you look at the amount of square footage they're talking about, the 8 million square foot, that's actually scaled for 40,000 jobs. So that's actually the reality. So the reality is they were going to bring 40,000 jobs, and that would have been 27.5 billion in revenue. That's the reality. Thomas Baird, don't forget small businesses that service large business workers. Exactly. Thomas Baird, exactly. I was going to get to that, Thomas. What about all the people? Well, construction. What about vendors? What about like Thomas Baird? Exactly. What about food trucks? What about cleaners? What about places to fix shoes? Shoe repair? What about cell phone repair? What about a whole bunch of different, you could think of a whole bunch of different retailers around the area, tailors, clothing stores, local gyms that could pop up. Who knows? I mean, you don't even have to. Thomas Baird, great point. Daycare, exactly. Hollywood Sunset. Thomas Baird, you don't have to think. I mean, you're 100% right. You don't have to think hard of all the businesses. Just if you look at it like an ecosystem, the economy is similar to an ecosystem. You have all of these things. You have all of these different jobs working in symbiotic relationship with one another. Amazon comes in, 25,000 employees come in 10 years, and then all of these small businesses pop up around the headquarters. But like I wrote in my Federalist article, and please share that everywhere, this is all about feel-good stuff. What feels good. It's not about, and I explained in my Federalist article that AOC's Green New Deal would lead to human suffering, tremendous human suffering in the Congo. Tremendous human suffering in the Congo, in Bolivia, in Argentina, in Chile, in China. Because if you have 5% right now car sales in the United States of America, electric vehicles, and electric vehicle batteries rely on cobalt, lithium, nickel, the mining of cobalt and lithium, which is linked to 35,000 children working in mines in the Congo without any environmental or health standards or workers, standards for workers. Mining practices, you have people suffering and just the pollution, and some of these mines are radioactive. So, I mean, that's just with 5%. The world isn't really running on just a tiny fraction of people drive electric cars, and you're already looking at a catastrophe, a humanitarian catastrophe in the Congo. Mitchell Smith. I hope Mitch goes through on the vote for the Green New Deal. Reality check for AOC, failed policies, the only one. Yeah, Mitchell Smith, thank you as always. Would be amazing. That would be amazing. And that's the thing. When you are afraid to vote on your own resolution, Mitchell, when you're afraid to vote on your own resolution, that's a problem. That's a big problem. Thank you. Kilted Bear, I understand why New York might need those jobs, but do you think D.C. needs those jobs? I understand why New York might need those jobs. D.C., I mean, if where are they going to? They're going back to going to Tennessee now. Where is Amazon going now? DC. You know what? Oh, the Northern Virginia. So they're going to Northern Virginia. That's right. Sure. I mean, DC could if it's. I think any community where the median income is 56,000. If it's a community, any place that needs an injection of economic activity should want this. This is important for Kilted Bear. Any place that needs a pickup. So yes, Eric H526 has the article. Thank you, Eric H526, as always. But share my Federalist article everywhere. I'll go ahead right now. I don't know why it's taking me so long to find the because I have it because there's like 200 word limit, and so all right, so that's the thing. It's like here you go, my article in the Federalist. Please share this everywhere on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, please go ahead and share this. So this is my article in the Federalist. How the Green New Deal would exploit poverty-stricken people across the globe. So this is my article in the Federalist. Please share that everywhere. So yeah, I mean, Mitchell Smith, thank you. Prawn D, rare to see such a combination of someone's as a society functions in arrogance of the place of AOC. Yep. Exactly. Prawn D, exactly. He does have a skill set. Exactly. I mean, this you're talking exactly. You're talking about theories. Leonard Sylvia, you're talking about Prawn D, you're talking about economic theories that have zero to do with growth. The one thing I really liked about Bernie was that he wanted to break up too big to fail banks. That's actually that would not be detrimental to the economy. That would actually save the economy and ensure that capitalism functions. So you wouldn't have to, just bail out banks when they eventually tank. That's a good thing. Even Alan Greenspan was talking about that. But see, they're not focused on any kind of rational economic argument. It's just, oh my God, this is moral. They're obsessed with a flawed view of morality that's actually morally inferior. Prawn D, thank you. That's why, like, when certain people say, H.A. Goodman is a grifted with Bernie. It's like, no, I wanted Americans to be brought home from war, which is what Bernie was saying. Notice how nobody cares about that on the left now. And these are the same grifters who who will always vote for Hillary Clinton, who will always say vote for Clinton 2020 or Biden 2020, and then pretend to fight the system. So I'm myself. There are a lot of people who go from Bernie to Trump. A lot of people. More than the left wants to realize. More than the left wants. What? Prison reform, great economy, peace between North and South Korea, bring home Americans from war, opposing the Trans-Pacific Partnership. So, A separate study assessing $1.3 billion in tax breaks and its estimated $3.5 billion in revenue was conducted on behalf of 13.5 billion in revenue. There you go. That's still good. I mean, it's still very good. Would there be negatives? Of course there would be negatives. Of course, there's always negatives. But you wanna ask yourself, do the economic positives outweigh the negatives? Like I said, the rents in the area, generally people commute in New York. Like if they work in Queens, they'll, or if they Long Island City, they'll live in another borough. So I'm not sure that the suddenly the rents would go up. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Wow. In all, the study estimates Amazon's headquarters would create more than 107,000. Oh my God. Direct and indirect jobs and 186 billion to the gross state pro. Ah, oh my God. 107,000 direct and indirect jobs over 10 years and $186 billion to the gross state product, which would be tens of billions of dollars in tax revenue. Tens of billions of dollars. New Yorkers pay city tax, like LA, the New York City income tax rates. So they pay city income tax. So you're looking at 107,000 people. My God. My God. In all, the study estimates the Amazon headquarters would create more than 107,000 direct and indirect jobs. 107,000 people would be employed. You deserve to just jump for joy, Democrats and AOC. You won. The oligarchy has never been defeated in a more profound manner. That's why, like, the progressive pundits would never debate me because they're so frightened. They just, they want to pretend that they're like so, like the people in power, they thank God every day for the Democratic Party and especially the progressives that have jettisoned Bernie Sanders for like Beto O'Rourke and AOC. And by the way, Bernie turned out to be a tool and a phony also, but I'm talking about pumping the Russia myth. I'm talking about not even bringing up the fact he was cheated. Yeah, that's not cool at all. This is hilarious. In all, the study estimates the Amazon headquarters would create more than 107,000 direct and indirect jobs. My God. My God. And $186 billion to the gross state product, which is the overall economic output of the state, like gross domestic product. Oh my God. This is insane. My God. Unbelievable. I would say we were trying to play it as down the middle as we could. We wanted to come up with the most reasonable estimate. This is like a conservative estimate. This is a conservative estimate. I mean, my God, this is a conservative estimate. It's like, good Lord. Good Lord. When you have 107,000, Mitchell Smith, what's the definition of throwing away 100? And the revenue tax, exactly, throwing away 107,000 jobs and the revenues that come with it. 107. I need to redo rewrite the title. You have 107,000 jobs, and hold on, I'm actually looking at the study right here. Why? All right. So, is this very difficult to look up? Okay, so I'm actually trying to look up the study right now. So, let's see. Read New York's Amazon study in full. Wow. During 2019 and 2043, the average employment impact of Amazon's investment in hiring on New York State in a given year is an increase of 76,461 to the so where does okay, so that's one estimate here. Mitchell Smith, thank you. I'm actually looking at the study right here. And so let's see here. 107,000 jobs. Where does it say on this study? So 107,000. Let's see. I think they're adding something to the 76,461 jobs. But an investment, Amazon was gonna make a major investment of $3.7 billion in the construction, employ 40,000 workers by 2033. Most of that direct employment is management positions, and Amazon is expected to compensate employees at a higher rate than other companies. Wow. The average statewide compensation impact, 10.5 billion. The average impact on the size of the state economy, as measured by gross state product, is an increase of 11.6 billion. This is just during a couple of the years. During 2019-2043, the present value of the increase is 168 billion. Wow. Wow. In statewide, and then GSP of 186 billion. Wowzers. That's amazing. This is a study, by the way, from Democrats. So I don't want to hear like, as a right wing study. They're looking at tax revenue growth. Personal income tax. I mean, all of this, all of her, you're talking about billions of dollars. The growth in the New York State economy from the construction and operation of the Amazon headquarters generates an increase in state revenue by raising the tax base, mainly through individual income tax, sales and gross receipt tax, and corporate income tax. So it's like there's a great deal of indirect employment, meaning um, everything from food trucks to janitorial services to a whole bunch of things. 47,000. Wow. The total indirect employment to the state averages $47 during the operation phase, where 19,000 are intermediate demand jobs and 28,000 are induced jobs. Still, though, that's good, and a lot of them will remain. Total 107,000 jobs if you add all of this, including the job growth that I talked about. Oh my goodness. Between the Green New Deal, which would decimate communities in the Congo, where people are risking their lives, their health. I mean, just inhaling carcinogens from radioactive mines, cobalt mines. My God Almighty! All for the electric, non-green vehicles. Electric vehicles are not good for the planet. That's just not. I'm not going out there and saying something that people don't know. It's just they're not good for the planet. If you add all these jobs together, it's this 107,000. My God. The direct employment impact is 27,722. Indirect employment is 47,440. So employment would rise initially within 10 years or so by 75,212 jobs, which would increase the economic activity in the state by $11.4 billion. From 2019 to 2043, the economic activity within the state would be $183 billion more. Yay! We don't have that economic activity anymore. We don't have that wealth. Yes. What could be more moral than that? This is fantastic. Wow. So yeah, I mean, if you look at this study, it's pretty interesting. It is interesting, and this is like, this is the Democrats commission this. The Democrats commissioned this study, so like they're like, please don't ruin this. For the love of God, don't ruin this, please, please. Fine, we cheated Bernie. It was all the Russians' fault. Don't do this anymore. This is what happens when you get Bernie light. This is what happens when you get Bernie. I mean, you're looking at construction and okay, so let's see, revenue. $9 billion in additional revenue, over 64% comes from individual. There are all these numbers here, and they're all increase employment. Like, it's just like this study, and all you see is like increase employment, revenue generation, tax revenue, gross domestic product increasing. Oh my God. Oh my God. But I mean, like, what did you gain from this? What did you gain from, like, yeah, I get it. I understand that there would be some negatives. The average employment impact of Amazon's investment and hiring on New York State in a given year is an increase of 76,461 jobs. During 2019 to 2043, the average employment impact of Amazon's investment and hiring on New York State in a given year is an increase of 76,000 jobs. The increase in employment over and above Amazon's direct activity is driven mainly by a combination of higher in-state consumption and supply chain demand that allow New York businesses to expand their operations. Also, the average supply chain demand impact is an increase of $11 billion, and many of the supply chain jobs are related to professional services, which have a strong presence in the state. You just took away money from a whole bunch of people who have nothing to do with Amazon. Yay! No money for people who have nothing to do with Amazon. Yay! She just ensured that $27.5 billion in tax revenue, 40,000 jobs, and $150,000 a year salary didn't go to Queens, didn't go to Long Island City. God bless you, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. You are amazing. The oligarchy has never been more upset. If you read this what Cuomo, this is what the Democratic governor, this is the study that he conducted. This is what the Democrat not a Republican operative. 40,000 workers by 2033, 40,000. And that's, by the way, conservative. Because, like they said, the build out was supposed to be initially 25,000, but the governor's office said the size of the headquarters fits over 40,000 people. My God. This is the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, like, we need more Green New Deals and Amazons, and this is amazing. 2020 is going to be Trump landslide. Well, he only has to win Michigan, Pennsylvania, or Wisconsin if he wins Arizona and Florida. So it's going to be pretty easy. My God, it'll be so amazing on election night because they won't be able to blame anyone. Ladies and gentlemen, what can I tell you? What can I tell you other than there's really nothing more you can say. 27.5 billion in Amazon tax revenue, 40,000 jobs, and 100. The 40,000 jobs, by the way, were very feasible. Amazon is growing. And Amazon will actually, it's one of the few companies, a few tech companies that are actually going to continue to grow, in my view. Like Facebook, Twitter, all the apps that are popular now, they're not going to be popular 10 years from now. They're just not. There's not one person in the country who can say, yeah, I never, I mean, of course there are, but like the majority of people have purchased something on Amazon and will continue to purchase something on Amazon. And the average median household income is $56,201 in Long Island City. How did AOC benefit these people? I don't get that. I mean, think of the food trucks, the construction, the just mom and pop stores, restaurants. Hello, restaurants. You have 25,000 more people in that community working. Think of the restaurants. Mom and pop restaurants that could pop up. Food trucks, tailors for clothing, shoe repair, convenience stores, hairstylists. Which reminds me, I need to go to my hairstylist. I mean, little movie theaters, I don't know, anything. My God. Exactly. Exactly. my chat is awesome. Think about all this, like all of the businesses, the indirect businesses. But you don't think of that. It's just, you're fighting the system. This is hilarious. You're fighting a system. Who will accomplish it? Bruce Tomaszewski. You're trying to fight a system. You're trying to fight a system by not acknowledging Bernie Sanders was cheated, and that Russia didn't cheat Bernie Sanders to help Trump because they hated Hillary. Now they want transcripts of Putin and Trump. I want transcripts of Bill Clinton and Putin when they met privately while the uranium deal was going down. But this is AOC, Amazon. I mean, even EOC cheers Amazon HQ to withdraw. Oh, okay. I mean, this is hilarious. Anything is possible. Yes, anything is possible. Even the destruction of 40,000 jobs. We can do it if we try. We're stronger together. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I got to pay royalty to Clinton, the Clinton campaign. Oh, my God. What she should have done is she should have copyrighted the it was yoga emails. It was for convenience. Anything is possible. Today was the day a group of dedicated everyday New Yorkers and their neighbors defeated Amazon's corporate greed, its worker exploitation, and the power of the richest man in the world. Wow. And you forgot to say 27.5 billion in tax revenue, 40,000 jobs, 150,000 yearly salaries, and there's more. And wait, there's more. 107,000 direct and indirect jobs and 186 billion to the gross state product. Yeah. You take that, oligarchy. You'll never know what hit you, oligarchy. This is the best. Because even now it's gone to the point where people on the left are like, wait a second. This is not working out. We only use these progressives to deceive people. Now they're actually trying to make policy. No. What are we doing? The plan is working against us. Then the New York Post. Oh, that's more conservative. Amazon invites Ocasio-Cortez to see for yourself after she slams dehumanizing working conditions. You know it's bad when Amazon's like, "Oh yeah, why don't you come on over here? Let's do this." Amazon has strict performance-heavy organization structure. Oh, this is hilarious. And then, is that the culture strict performance of why Amazon workers have to, you know what, in bottles? What? And work while on food stamps to meet what? Performance shouldn't, at least that's why we got rid of sweatshops. Well, this is an article of Amazon in the UK. So she pointed to an article of Amazon, but Amazon, wait. Let's see. But like what, like, so okay, so there there are some working conditions in Amazon that are not altogether great. So then you 100 then you deny 107,000 people in New York jobs. What's the point there? Matthew Rosenfeld, ANC 20, taking 99%. That's good. That's good. Matthew Rosenfeld. That's good. I don't get that. I don't get like what she. So are they going to change their So this is a Newsweek article, one Newsweek article. Let's read it. Okay. Rumors about working conditions in Amazon warehouses. Okay, warehouses and delivery routes. This wouldn't be a warehouse, this would be a headquarters. So that's where AOC is wrong initially. Time off around holidays, adequate breaks on shift, and okay, so some workers for the company allegedly on food stamps and receive. So she she literally quotes an article where the word allegedly is, and rumors. There you go. Okay, these are the warehouses they're talking about, but not the headquarters, the state of the art headquarters. So I mean, I actually agree with AOC on the conditions in the warehouses, but Wounded Warrior, you're right. Yep. I think they're going to Northern Virginia now. I mean, it just never ends. It never ends. They don't even know what losing means. Like, they think losing is winning. It's fantastic. So, I mean, at the end of the day, okay, so Amazon will pay HQ2 employees an average of 150,000. So I don't think she's even referring to the warehouse workers. I don't think make 100 grand a year. 150,000 is not that much money in New York. I understand that, but um this is just very interesting. It's like and now she's on record as actually she quotes an article that has nothing to do with the actual headquarters that was supposed to be in Queens. So this is amazing. And her whole thing was Medicare for all. She hasn't even introduced the bill, or she hasn't pushed Bernie's bill in 2017. Amazon invites AOC to tour facility after. Oh my god. That is hilarious. She might even be challenged, primary challenge. Oh my god. Inc.com. This is funny. So they're like, "Yeah, why don't you come over?" Amazon hits out at AOC for foiling their plan to build their second headquarters in New York. 107,000 direct and indirect jobs. So they come Nashville and okay, so wait, is Amazon going to Nashville or Northern Virginia? Okay, so let's see. This is the thing. There are going to be negatives. Of course, there are negatives, but there are also positives. The positives outweigh the negatives. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. So yeah, I mean, if they go to Nashville, that'd be great. That'll be great. How much new Amazon employees? Wow. So $150,000 will go a lot away. They'll actually will go a lot more. Will go a lot further in Nashville and Northern Virginia. More so in Nashville. So it's like group worries Amazon expansion in Nashville would impact jobs, housing, and transportation. Well, it would impact housing and transportation, but it would impact jobs in a positive way. But all of that, I mean, this is the thing. Sure, there's negatives. There are negatives, but the positives outweigh the negatives. That's the point. Clinton will get indicted eventually. She committed crimes. She's going to get indicted eventually. I'm responding to an amazing, wonderful, awesome person in the live chat. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very interesting. So the more you look into it, the more you realize that, and also New York, just the nature of New York, there are a lot more, like, there would probably be a great deal more, a lot more people employed just because of the nature of New York than in any other city. So I don't know. It says right here. In all, the study estimates the Amazon headquarters will create more than 107,000 direct and indirect jobs and $186 billion to the gross state product. There you go. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much to my super chat. Thank you. And $27 billion in tax revenue, 40,000 jobs, 150,000 yearly salaries. My God almighty. The oligarchy has never been more afraid. Oh my goodness. To my super chat, thank you. I will be back numerous times today. God bless. Thank you so much.